Here's your wrestling news for November 9th, 2020. And your headlines for today include WWE books Paul Heyman in a new role on WWE TV. Paige and boyfriend Ronnie Radke escape scary stalker situation at home. Alberto Del Rio says he is innocent, he is pressing charges against Paige, wrestlers react. Potential spoiler on future plans for Aalyah, Mysterio, and Murphy. AEW currently working on multiple video games. Reby Hardy insults a fan in a whole new way. Tony Khan on the future of Gangrel and Hurricane Helms in AEW. Jey Uso explains why he joined forces with Roman Reigns. SmackDown team captain declares himself for WWE Survivor Series. Miro says Paul Heyman couldn't live up to his promises. What are Liv Morgan, Lio Rush, and Scorpio Sky up to, and more. We are kicking off with SmackDown today as Paul Heyman is serving as the special counsel to Universal Champion Roman Reigns, but now has a new job for the Blue brand. On the latest edition of Talking Smack, Heyman gave his usual introduction as the counsel to the Tribal Chief before adding, "And so someone can keep Kayla on the straight and narrow, I now serve the public as your co-host of Talking Smack because Kayla, from what I can see, has been talking smack just a little too much lately." Whilst Heyman declared himself as the co-host, he didn't confirm that he would be joining the show permanently, though that certainly seems the case. Regarded as one of the greatest talkers of all time, having Heyman co-host Talking Smack will be a great addition to the show, and we'll have to see if he can keep his word to keep Kayla Braxton in line. Paige news next as she and her boyfriend Ronnie Radke have luckily escaped a scary situation. Yesterday, a man arrived at their house, claiming that symbols led him to them, though before the situation could escalate, Radke put him in a hold until police arrived. Radke commented in the incident, saying how the man got his handed to him until police arrived, and this isn't the first time that a superstar has been harassed in their home. Fans will remember an obsessed fan of Sonya Deville trying to kidnap her in August, and we're glad to hear that Paige and Radke were able to stay safe during this incident. More Paige news as she's had a lot of negative things to say about her ex Alberto Del Rio, claiming that he was physically abusive, but now the former world champion is refuting those claims. Speaking to TMZ recently, Del Rio claimed that things were the other way around and that Paige was the aggressor. He said, "It was the other way around. I have the evidence, not just words." I would say, Rhea, why are you doing this, Rhea? And I'm not calling you Paige because you were never Paige to me, you were Rhea. Why would you hurt me in a moment like this? Despite saying he has evidence to back up his claims, this hasn't come to light at this time, and things are a case of he said, she said so far. Renee Young clearly wasn't buying what Del Rio was saying, as when Ryan Satin said that TMZ shouldn't be giving Del Rio a platform to torment something he's reportedly been abusive to, Renee replied saying, "That dude can truly f*** all the way off." Sonya Deville also chimed in, replying to Young with an "Amen, sister." Though he didn't provide his claimed evidence, TMZ are reporting that Del Rio's considering suing Paige for defamation, though that may be difficult considering his own current legal troubles. Del Rio is awaiting his January trial for second-degree sexual assault and kidnapping of a different woman, which, if found guilty, could mean he spends life in prison. This is a serious story that we'll update you viewers on as more information becomes available, but for now, the former world champion is denying all claims made against him. Back to the ring now as the storyline between Murphy and Aalyah just got taken to the next level when Seth Rollins offered to marry the couple, and now we have an idea of what will be coming next. In a segment where Murphy asked Aalyah to trust him, it seemed like the former Cruiserweight champion is actually manipulating Rollins, but according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, some fans will have seen this feud before. Dave Meltzer has noted the similarities to a WWC angle, where Konnan was the top heel and was set to marry Stacey Colon, the daughter of Carlos Colon and sister to Primo and Carlito. This angle culminated in the Colons finally accepting Konnan, only for him to betray them all and reveal he was manipulating the situation. Of course, this may not be how the angle plays out, but with Vince McMahon's love for weddings and Rey Mysterio's real-life closeness to Konnan, it's entirely possible that WWE may have taken a thing or two from the former WCW star. Speaking of Aalyah, she's not a wrestler, but she continues to impress those backstage. A source close to the situation has said that Vince McMahon has been impressed by her work so far, and the numbers don't lie when it comes to fans being interested in what she has to say and do. Her segment on Raw, where she protected Murphy, reached around 1.5 million views on YouTube, whilst her segment where Seth Rollins revealed her messages to the former Cruiserweight champion hit 1.9 million. There's many more segments with Aalyah that have surpassed over 2 million views, and the source said fans shouldn't be surprised if Aalyah signed to a contract. They said, "Vince sees star potential in her. She's great to work with, she's eager to learn." The source also added that the chairman has been taken aback by Aalyah's performance so far, adding, "She hasn't trained at the PC and she has no prior acting experience. We knew Dominic had the potential to be great, but I think Vince got caught by surprise because he was not expecting to see potential out of both of Ray's kids." We'll have to see how far Aalyah's time in WWE goes, but if backstage reports are anything to go by, she'll be there for a long time. Over to AEW, as the company has a lot in the pipeline, including a big announcement regarding their video game that'll be revealed tomorrow. We're not sure what tomorrow's announcement will be, but what we do know is that there will be more than one AEW game for fans to pick up. During the post-Full Gear media scrum, Tony Khan confirmed that multiple games will be released on multiple platforms, though kept details quiet, saying more information will come out in 2020. With that said, Khan did say that they were working on something akin to General Manager mode, which will allow fans to build their own shows and book them, a game mode that fans have been campaigning WWE for years to bring back. Whilst that may never happen, it certainly seems to be the case for at least one AEW game, and now we know that fans will have a choice of which games from the company they want to play. Full Gear next, as Matt Hardy defeated Sammy Guevara in the Elite Deletion match, and one person who was watching closely was Reby Hardy. When Reby referenced a bump Sammy took that was similar to Matt's very real, scary fall at All Out, one fan branded her a hypocrite, as Reby was angry at her husband being knocked out cold, but not at the spot during Full Gear. Reby responded with some not-so-PG language, telling the fan, "Suck my whole." Reby responded with some not-so-PG language, telling the fan, "Suck my whole." Whilst the fan called her a hypocrite, it's worth mentioning that Matt's injury at All Out was very real, whilst Sammy's fall was worked, and his head was not busted open by the fall in this cinematic match. Had that actually happened, Tony Khan wouldn't have let Hardy finish with a chair shot to Guevara's head, and it goes to show that sometimes fans need to be reminded that what they see isn't quite the truth. The Elite Deletion match also saw a couple of notable cameos, as Gangrel and Hurricane Helms showed up, and fans have been wondering if we'll see them again. During the post-show media scrum, Tony Khan said that he doesn't have them booked in the next loop for AEW programming, but said he's open to them coming back down the line. Whilst Khan said he's worked with Helms before, Full Gear was the first time he'd worked with Gangrel, and given his impressive performance during his cameo, the Vampire may be back when the time is right. Back to WWE, and Jey Uso shockingly attacked Daniel Bryan on the October 30th SmackDown, siding with his cousin Roman Reigns, and now he's explained his actions. Speaking to Kayla Braxton over Instagram, Jey apologized to Bryan for the attack, and added that what he did he had to because of the oath he made to fall in line to the tribal chief. Jey added that Bryan was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and added that he hasn't spoken to his brother Jimmy since his heel turn. We'll have to see what Jimmy Uso has to say about his brother and cousin now, but for now, Jey is remaining true to his word and falling in line. Jey will also be on the SmackDown Men's Survivor Series team, alongside King Corbin, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, and another member, but it seems Jey won't be the captain. On Talking Smack, Seth Rollins declared himself the captain of the team and said he'll be making history, as it'll be the first time he leads a team against Raw. This isn't too different to AJ Styles declaring himself the captain of Team Raw, and though we'll have to wait and see how both teams fare on November 22nd, the Architect and the Phenomenal One both think they're the right man for the job. Now, WWE is celebrating 30 years of The Undertaker's career with a special 30-day celebration on the WWE Network, and one new documentary will be devoted to his longtime manager, Paul Bearer. On Twitter, the dead man posted an out-of-character message about the Hall of Famer, describing Bearer as an iconic manager, great friend, and great person. This year's Survivor Series will give the Phenom his final farewell, but given that he signed a 15-year deal in March, it's hard to say what will happen. Whatever happens, we know that the dead man's career wouldn't quite have been the same without Bearer, so it's great to see the Mortician getting his own doc on the network. Back to AEW next, as Miro has found a nice spot for himself as the best man of the All Elite promotion, but he may never have made it there had WWE reportedly kept their word. While speaking on Talk is Jericho, Miro spoke about working under Paul Heyman when he was the executive director of Raw, and how Heyman was able to convince Miro to return to TV for the Lana and Lashley infidelity angle. He said, "Heyman called us with that story and I was like, where's it leading? Of course, because this is my first question, main event of WrestleMania. One of the main events of WrestleMania. When you hear that, what are you going to say? There's plans, and this is September, October, whatever it was, so it's a few months planned and it's very realistic." The prospect of a main event match at WrestleMania was too much for the then Rusev to turn down, though obviously that didn't happen. Instead, the angle ended not long after the wedding on the final Raw of 2019, and Rusev was nowhere to be seen at Mania before his April 15th release. Now he seems to be much happier in AEW, as the company held off on him being at Full Gear for good reason, though his All Elite tenure may never have started if WWE gave him what was promised. Back to the ring, and Ruby Riott earned herself a spot in the SmackDown Women's Survivor Series team last week, but her partner Liv Morgan was nowhere to be seen. It turns out that Morgan is at SmackDown every single week, but simply isn't being used by WWE. And given the fact that her tag team partner was able to win this triple threat by herself, we're wondering what the future holds for Liv. We're going political next, as the US presidential election continues to be a talking point even in WWE. According to reports, the recent election was a huge talking point during last week's SmackDown, but things were reportedly civil as there were no arguments had amongst superstars. Andrew Yang has promised to improve the working conditions for superstars under a Joe Biden administration, and with one source in WWE saying that Yang will cause a lot of headaches for Vince McMahon, this could be an interesting time to be a superstar. Now, it's been a while since fans have seen Lio Rush in the ring, but now the man of the hour is set to take his talents to the silver screen. Rush has snagged a role in an upcoming Power Rangers movie, though we don't know what role that'll be, and given his athleticism and wrestling past, we're sure he'll be able to whoop some Putty Patrol butt if he ends up donning one of the iconic Mighty Morphin suits. And we're ending with Scorpio Sky, as he's been cleared to return to AEW. Sky was pulled from shows and forced to quarantine, though he did not test positive, and now it's being reported he could be back as soon as this Wednesday's Dynamite. Before he's let back in by AEW, he'll have to pass another test, but given he's tested negative twice, this is great news for fans of the SCU member.